What's going on, everybody? D here from perfecthumanx.com, and today I'm going to talk about the difference between prolactin and progesterone. Now, a lot of people in the bodybuilding community may have been introduced to prolactin through a very famous compound that is nandrolone or DECA, knowing that it increases prolactin production in the body, and learning that you have to take some precautions to prevent prolactin from going to abnormal or higher than normal levels in the body, which can cause a lot of other problems in the body if the prolactin levels goes very high. But a lot of people really don't understand the difference between prolactin and progesterone, and they seem to basically mix the two sometimes, saying that a compound like DECA increases prolactin, sometimes saying that it increases progesterone. So I'm going to take this chance to basically lay out the main differences between these two elements, which they're not the same thing. So but basically, what prolactin is, it is a peptide hormone produced by the pituitary gland, right? It is regulated by dopamine and thyrotropin releasing hormone, and it's known primarily for its role in lactation, and it also serves other functions in men. On the other hand, progesterone is a steroid hormone produced in small amounts by the adrenal glands and the testes. It is a precursor to other hormones like testosterone, cortisol, and aldosterone. It regulates aspects of the male reproductive health and balances other hormone levels. So basically, they're completely two different things, and they're produced through different parts in the human body. So they're basically not the same thing, and they serve different functions, and they affect different things, specifically here with regards to the male body, right? So this is what we're focused on here. Now, as far as the functions of men of these two different things, between the difference between prolactin and progesterone. For prolactin, it influences testosterone production and sperm maturation. High levels of prolactin would inhibit the hypothalamic pituitary gonadal axis, basically reducing testosterone. That's one of the effects if your prolactin goes very high, right? And as far as behavioral effects, it's linked to mood regulation and paternal bonding. As far as its immune function, it modulates the immune system, and high levels can suppress immunity. It also may support liver metabolism and regulate glucose. So this is as far as prolactin, right? Now, and just to say, for a lot of people that dose or take high doses of nandrolone or 19-nors in general, and they suffer some of the side effects of these compounds, high prolactin, in some cases, of course, and its side effects that are mentioned here may be one of the reasons to explain some of these side effects that people see from such compounds. Now, as far as progesterone, it's a precursor for testosterone synthesis. It balances estrogen levels and supports sperm production, okay? As far as behavioral effects, it influences the CNS function, particularly calming effects via GABA modulation. It helps regulate immune responses. It also plays a role in skin health and preventing hair loss by moderating DHT activity. One of the things that a lot of people don't know is that progesterone actually can prevent or inhibit some of the destructive effects of DHT on the scalp, on hair loss specifically. And that's one thing that is very positive about prolactin. As far as the normal levels in the body, or in men specifically, prolactin would range from 2 to 18 nanograms per milliliter, and progesterone would range between 0.1 to 1.0 nanograms per milliliter in the human body, right? As far as blood, the levels in the blood. Now, what effects do these two things, prolactin and progesterone, have if they have abnormal levels in the body? And here we come to a lot of the side effects that people suffer from when they talk about compounds like nandrolone, right? And that would explain a lot of the side effects that people may suffer from when it comes to some of these things. For prolactin, number one, high prolactin, right, which is can cause a lot of side effects. It can cause pituitary tumors, medications, like, for example, antipsychotics, hypothyroidism. This is some of the things that may cause high prolactin, right? So, some medications, like even some antipsychotics, they can cause high prolactin. Now, if in this case, for bodybuilders, they would start thinking, of course, nandrolone and deca, right? Dosed in very high dosages can induce high prolactin, and then we can go into these side effects. Now, the symptoms can be reduced testosterone production, low libido, erectile dysfunction, right? A very common side effects when it comes to something like DECA. Infertility due to impaired sperm production, gynecomastia, depression, or fatigue, right? Now, some of the treatments, which people know as, let's say, prolactin control in bodybuilding as well, dopamine agonists like cabergoline, bromocriptine or pramipixel is also one major compound that is used to control prolactin levels. Very famous among bodybuilders. Actually, a lot cheaper than cabergoline, but it has a lot of side effects. I mean, it really upsets your stomach. It's not really the best when it comes to prolactin control. Now, as far as low prolactin, it is rare and not typically problematic, but may impact paternal bonding or immune function. Now, coming to progesterone, high progesterone. Some of the causes of high progesterone can be adrenal disorders, exogenous progesterone use. Symptoms can be reduced libido, fatigue and mood changes, potential suppression of DHT. I mean, this can have a positive side effect, which is, of course, minimizing or reducing hair loss. Okay, so this is one of the what we'd call some of the positive, one of the positive side effects of progesterone, is that it minimizes some of the hair loss that you have because of its suppression of DHT, reducing androgenic effects like facial and body hair growth, right? When a lot of people talk about they did nandrolone and they saw that they have less hair loss, okay, that could be why, right? As far as treatment, addressing underlying causes, avoid unnecessary supplementation. Okay. Low progesterone can some of the symptoms is an imbalance in testosterone and estrogen levels, difficulty with spermatogenesis, poor regulation of DHT, which may contribute to hair loss or acne. Treatment, rarely treated directly, focus is on optimizing overall hormone balance. Okay. So, just to recap, some of the key differences in men between prolactin and progesterone, which is they're different. They are different compounds, or they are completely different from each other, right? The prolactin is produced by the pituitary gland. Progesterone is produced by the adrenal glands and the testes. Primary role for prolactin, it regulates testosterone indirectly and impacts libido. For progesterone, it's a precursor to testosterone and cortisol. The effects of high levels of prolactin reduces testosterone, causes sexual dysfunction. For progesterone, reduces DHT and androgenic effects. Effects of low level, minimal direct issues, but may affect bonding. For progesterone, disrupts hormonal balance. Okay. And prolactin is overmeasured in men, presenting with erectile dysfunction, infertility, or low testosterone symptoms. Progesterone in men is less commonly measured, but can be assessed in cases of adrenal dysfunction or suspected hormonal imbalances. Now, when it comes to a compound like DECA, okay, people ask, well, does DECA increase prolactin, or does it increase progesterone, or both, right? That's a lot of this is a major point where a lot of people are confused, right? They don't understand how a compound like nandrolone affects these different things, basically prolactin or progesterone. Actually, DECA primarily increases prolactin, okay, but this effect is mediated indirectly through its progesterogenic activity. And this is how it works. DECA is a 19-nor derivative, means that it has structural similarity to progesterone. It binds to progesterone receptors, leading to progesterogenic effects. While this progesterogenic activity does not directly raise the progesterone levels in the bloodstream, it mimics progesterone's actions, potentially affecting the hormonal balance. Now, how does that cause prolactin elevation? The progesterogenic activity of DECA can stimulate prolactin secretion by the pituitary gland. Okay, so, and thus the prolactin levels may rise due to the indirect effect of increased progesterone receptor activation on the hypothalamus pituitary axis. This can lead to prolactin-related side effects, such as gynecomastia, nipple discharge, erectile dysfunction, DECA dick, so to speak, right? So DECA increases prolactin levels indirectly via its progesterogenic activity, okay? But it does not increase circulating progesterone levels, okay? But it binds to and activates progesterone receptors, mimicking its effects, right? And of course, the way to manage that is dopamine agonists like cabergoline and pramipixole, which it's the second best option. It has a lot of side effects, like upset stomach and just so many different side effects. Okay. Now, one other point that is so crucial to mention, which is what is the relationship between prolactin and estrogen. Now, estrogen can indirectly stimulate prolactin. Okay, so high estrogen levels, they have a relationship with prolactin, and it is sometimes that when estrogen gets very high, it can cause some stimulation to prolactin, and this can be treated with AIs, right? Aromatase inhibitors, basically like Arimidex or letrozole. And also keeping the estrogen in level might prevent any side effects or any elevation in the prolactin levels, right? So with that being said, this was an overview of the differences between prolactin and progesterone and the relationship to nandrolone, specifically its long ester, which is DECA, and how DECA affects these two hormones in the body and how their effects can be mitigated. So be sure to check all your blood levels or get your blood tests done on a regular basis, checking all your hormonal levels, making sure everything is right, specifically if you are engaged in bodybuilding, and specifically if you use some of these compounds that may elevate your prolactin levels, to make sure that everything's in the right range. That's number one. Number two, of course, you want to get your other blood tests and blood panels done regularly, including the blood panel, the comprehensive metabolic panel, the lipid panel, the testosterone panel, complete testosterone panel, along with things like estrogen or E2 estradiol, progesterone, prolactin, if you can, as well as all the kidney and liver enzymes. And these are basically some of the main metrics that you want to get in your blood tests at least once a year. Now, one thing to mention, and I'm going to talk about this in a separate video, is a lot of people, when they get their comprehensive testosterone panel, right? Because that's what you want to do. They never actually measure their dihydrotestosterone levels, which is something that is very crucial, is actually to measure your dihydrotestosterone levels. And this is not just for things like hair loss, but it's a big indicator to prostate health and the protection of prostate in the long term. Elevated dihydrotestosterone levels can increase the probability of getting prostate enlargement and even eventually prostate cancer at some point. So keeping your dihydrotestosterone in check, okay, is extremely important, and is something that has to be measured when people get their hormonal or get their testosterone panel, okay? Now, that being said, check out the blog, which will have all this information laid out in a very simple to read manner, and check out perfecthumanx.com for that basically article. Check out the links to all the products that are mentioned in this video or other videos to take care of your health, and make sure that you observe these metrics on a regular basis, the ones that you can do at home and the ones that you need to go to the lab for. And I'll see you in the next video.